Hey there, friends and foes. Good morning, multiverse. Welcome back to Back of the Cereal Box, the pop culture podcast that celebrates the fun of the Saturdays of our youth while surviving adulthood. Today, I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John Pica, and Avengers comic books, Marvel comics, Star Wars movies, Saturday morning cartoons made me who I am today. And that's what this show is about. And this morning on Saturday 101, talking about the essential Saturday morning cartoons, we are going to be covering one of the all-time greatest, the Super Friends. And we are going to do that right after this from the Murdering Crows.
It's like Coca-Cola, Levi Strauss, Johnny Carson and Mickey Mouse. The first star was James Dean, Elvis Presley, and he's still the king. Some things are only imitatable. You can't beat an original. Oh, you can't beat an original.
That amazing theme song is performed by our friends, the Murdering Crows. You can get their album, Four Bad Crows, at Amazon, iTunes, Google, or anywhere you buy music. And I just realized I was singing along with the theme song with the headphones on, so I had no idea how loud I am. And I just woke up the entire family. They're welcome. Anyway, I am the prophet of pop culture, John Pica. You are watching Back of the Cereal Box, and it is time to introduce you to our co-hosts, the one, the only, the incomparable, multi-talented, multifaceted, beautiful model, actress, photographer. She's been my broadcast partner for 11 years. She is a fan of Ghostbusters, dinosaurs, Wizard of Oz, and Friends. And maybe she'll be a fan of the Super Friends. Please welcome the one, the only, Dee Barty.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dee Barty.
I like that we're matching.
I know. Gee, I wonder why we're wearing the same t-shirt. We're going to find out in just a moment. But before we do that, we need to welcome our third co-host. She is your emotional support Canadian, the Peppermint Princess, the social media socialite. She is a fan of comic book superheroes and X-Men in particular. It is the one, the only, Willow Schuyler.
Hello.
All the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, via the magic of the interwebs. And Willow, I've got to say, you've been coming to us from the study, from the cigar lounge for several weeks, and I gotta, I think every time I see it, I'm like, oh my, how grown up.
How sophisticated.
That's because my living room that I actually have does not compare to this.
So I thought I was going to get up early this morning and set up my green screen and put up the banner. Well, the best laid plans of mice and men. 6 o'clock came, snooze button. 6:15 came, snooze button. 6:30, snooze button. 6:45, snooze button. 7 o'clock, I got to get up. And I had to go to the grocery store before we did the show so that I could have, some ambrosia, some fuel. And it just did not get done. And as a matter of fact, Dee, Willow, last weekend I was at Rathacon with our buddy Blake, and I don't know where the banner went to.
Oh no. That's not good.
I know it came home. I remember unloading it from the truck, but I don't know where it is.
Somewhere in the garage.
So we've got a naked rec room this morning.
Well, maybe you can find a study.
Maybe.
Put some clothes on it.
That's
I
right.
mean, your area looks a lot nicer than my living space. So
Well, and here's why. I have my wife is like obsessively neat. She's got OCD. Our house looks like a museum. I mean, everything is at right angles and is perfectly placed. And God help you if you move something out of place. It's we don't have people over because they're afraid to like actually sit on the furniture. So anyway, that's not true. Kind of a little bit. Anyway, we need to welcome in our special co-host this morning. Sarah Jenkins is not with us. So I called on our dear friend, our regular guest co-host, all the way from North Carolina. He is a pop culture maven, a 90s kid, super fan of the Fox 90s, Fox Kids morning cartoons. He is he's an athlete. He's super cool, and he's a top-notch podcaster, host of Drew versus the World. It is the one, the only Drew Milden.
Hello.
Drew.
Drew! That's what they say
Hey.
every time you type something in. Drew!
Drew, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Uh-oh. Don't pick it up too fast. You'll hurt your rotator cuff.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's not even talk about that. You joined D and I at Nerdy Gras,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and with us was Hillbilly, Joseph Roberts, and the two of you got D a little bit inebriated.
We like the party.
Not at 12 in the morning. D's all mad at me now. No, it's all.
It was so like I had to like hang out and wait, and like I didn't leave till late because I was like, I have to sober up. And then it didn't help that the bartender's like, hey, have some more margaritas. And I'm like, okay. I think that was, were you still there, Drew, or had you left already? 'Cause
He had
like,
already left.
He had already left.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the bartender was like, oh, here's a whole nother glass of like leftover margaritas that he had made. And he was like, these are yours. And I was like, John, I can't drink this.
And John was over there doing magic and just blowing people's minds. That was super fun. I love
Super
close-up
fun.
magic.
And I wish that you had been able to stay with us a little bit longer, but Drew got the call.
Mm-hmm.
Time to come home.
Yeah, I got the call 6 times. I took that was the call. The last call was the last call.
Look, I thought it was the cutest thing. So Drew, we had never met in person before. And as soon as he got there, the first thing he says to me is, wow, you're really tall.
He's very tall.
Because you
was like,
hit
wow.
me right about here. And
I was like, wow.
then he sees John, who's even taller, and he's like, whoa.
Not much taller than D. I'm almost 6'3", and D, what are you? Right at 6 foot?
A little under.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So
I was impressed by these giants.
Yeah, he
Well,
was. He didn't know what he was walking into.
Drew, I'm sure that you'd be taller than me.
I don't know.
well, speaking
That's
of
why we make a
5'5".
statement everywhere we go, John. 'Cause We're
That's
the
right.
giant
And-
people.
and at Rathacon last weekend, someone offered me $20 to climb me.
Oh,
I've
offered
been
you
there.
$20.
They didn't offer me money. They just asked.
Wow,
if they
they're
could climb.
great.
Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about this morning. We
This show has turned TV 17 since the last time I've been on.
This is Back of the Cereal Box, a pop culture podcast that celebrates the fun of the Saturday mornings of our youth while surviving adulthood today. And adulting is hard. It is getting old is not for the weak.
That's why
And-
they give me alcohol at conventions.
And we like to take Saturday mornings to celebrate some of the fun and innocence of our youth. And for me, when I was a kid, Saturday mornings meant big bowls of cereal, sitting down to watch cartoons, kung fu movies, Godzilla movies, NWA pro wrestling, and and at 12, mom would kick us out of the house. We'd ride our bikes down to the convenience store, to the Lawson's drugstore, and get comic books. So Saturday for me is cartoons, comics, kaiju, kung fu movies, and big bowls of cereal. And we're called back in the cereal box because in between cartoons, comics, kaiju, and kung fu movies, we didn't have iPhones or tablets at the breakfast table on Saturday mornings or any morning. So we were reading the back of the cereal box. That was our newspaper. That was our world. And it's come to my attention, Dee, that a lot of kids today, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they have no idea what I'm talking about when I talk about reading the back of the cereal box and having to prioritize Saturday mornings to see your favorite show. They don't get it. They're like, just stream it.
Uh-huh.
Just wait. And you've got a kid who's like addicted to the tablet, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's what this show is about. And for those of you in the audience, you can comment in our super chat, like Cartoon Commotion, our friend Cade, who says, "Good morning, Cereal Box Podcast. Good morning, Cartoon Commotion." Or like Dawn Doulis, who says, "Good morning." Good morning, Dawn. As we chat and share our Saturday experience, you guys can join us and be a part of the show. Now, the first thing I have to ask every Saturday morning is, what's in the bowl? Now, I know, DBarty, you reject the entire premise of this show. So you don't have anything in the bowl. You have your coffee. But Willow, what do you got this morning? You're on mute, Willow.
Hey, look, I don't have anything in the bowl, but I did purchase something special for this show.
Oh.
Ooh,
white chocolate?
Fruity Pebbles.
I'm surprised.
Are you going to do a taste test for it this morning?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, start getting it ready. Willow, what do you got this morning?
I have some soggy caramel toast crunch, but actually it's not that bad. And
well, because you started eating before we even went on air.
I know. That's because I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to the kitchen and get my cereal.
I know, it's like ooh, and you got Twinkies.
I got Twinkies.
I'm so excited. This week was National Twinkie Day, and so Willow, are you gonna do Willet cereal?
I can dip it in my milk and see if that'll taste good.
Oh, let me tell you what, it's gonna taste good. That's how I love eating Twinkies, dipping them in the milk. Now I'm gonna tell you. You got to do this fast.
Put her on mute.
Yeah.
Me?
This should taste amazing.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah.
One of my favorite treats is donuts with milk. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what this is, just super spongy donuts with milk. Now,
I bet it be good in whiskey.
DBarty. Now there was a recipe that I sent everyone through Instagram Messenger this week where they cut up the Twinkies and they baked them and created cereal by baking the Twinkies. I want to try that, but I didn't have time to go get Twinkies this week. So maybe next week we're going to try that.
I have a whole box.
I think Willow, this needs to be a thing that you need to do this week for our Instagram. Bake them, try them, and send me the video, and we'll post it on our Instagram page.
Okay.
But I absolutely hate Twinkies.
But do you hate Twinkies? Really?
I do. I'm not a fan. I don't like cake, and that's just what it tastes like to me is cake.
You don't like cake? Mm-hmm. It is cake. There's wait, I thought you said you like icing. Well, but the Twinkies have icing in them.
Okay.
But you don't want the cake part. You just want the icing.
Mm. I like icing and I like pie. I don't like cake.
We will work together. I love cake, but I hate icing, so I could give you all the icing tea.
You my boo, Drew.
That's hysterical. So, Drew, do you have anything in your bowl this morning?
No, I do
training.
not. But yes, I'm actually on in my fasting window, so I can't eat for another 4 hours. But what I do have is something we like to call here in the South a cronut.
Wait. Let me put that center screen. What is a cronut?
Cronut.
What is a cronut? He's good.
So a cronut is basically a donut with croissant, like made with croissant.
Oh.
And then it also has sugar and icing and chocolate chips. So but I can't have this. I can't have this.
At all?
No, not at all. Not at all. But this is just in my fridge, and I want to show it to you guys how my wife does me. She has it in there as temptation. So I just want to show you guys. And if you're listening, my lovely wife, I know what you're doing. I won't break.
There is a new donut place in Nashville that does those cronuts. That is amazing.
Show us the baby, Drew.
Yep, the baby wants to be on the show too.
Hi, cutie. Oh.
Showing off the hairdo there.
Oh, Drew's got his headphones in, so.
Yeah, that's okay. He's on mute.
Can't hear us.
You want to say bye, bud? Say hi.
Hi.
No? Okay. Don't watch Cars.
Funny.
Okay.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right. Go get your toys.
All right. So, this weekend at Rathacon, my buddy Blake, my right-hand man on the road, he brought me a gift. He brought me a bunch of gifts, actually. Aww. And we're going to show him off for new loot. But he bought me an entire pack of bowls with the milk straw. So you can drink the cereal milk through the straw. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. However,
awesome.
These are all the rage. And he brought me a Skeletor spoon. So just for DBRT, I have a plastic bowl and a plastic spoon. You can't even hardly hear that. But this is a Skeletor staff spoon that apparently changes color in milk. And we're about to find out. Now, DBRT, do you remember the episode where I ate the 5 or 6 year old Cuphead cereal and it turned my tongue black? Do you remember this? No. You don't remember this?
I might not have been here for that.
No, I think you were.
I don't remember.
Anyway.
I remember the 30-year-old bubble gum that Sarah and I ate.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was not.
I have Funko's Cuphead and Mugman strawberry flavor. This is, I want to say maybe 7 years old.
Ew.
Never been open.
Oh.
On the back is a fantastic maze. And super fun. And inside is a toy. A Mugman Pop.
Cool.
Now, you guys know I'm obsessed with the Mugman cartoon show.
Yeah.
3 seasons now. I love it. I think it's hysterical. We're going to open this up and we're going to try this vintage cereal live on air. Are you ready for this? Oh, that smells horrible. It definitely has a strawberry smell. I'm not a big fan of strawberry.
How old is this cereal again? How old?
Maybe 6, 7 years old, maybe.
Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a date on it, but does it say best?
I kind of find
okay.
You calling it vintage a little too soon for that.
It was actually better if used before June of 2018.
Oh, no.
Which means it had at least a shelf life of 3 years before that. So here we go.
Oh no.
Strawberry, Cuphead, and Mugman cereal.
Is the milk that old too?
Drew keeps running away on us.
although I did find out this weekend that almond milk is shelf stable. It does not have to be refrigerated. Really? I did not know that. Yeah. That is not something I knew. But the spoon is not changing color. I'm kind of disappointed, but that's okay. This is hard to use actually with that big skull ram head. But here we go. And it's a little tiny spoon.
It should be a bigger spoon.
Yeah, it should be. But we're going to give this a try. You ready?
Still is crunchy. No.
Oh, he gets another bite. Oh.
Stale?
No.
Just don't like the strawberry taste?
It tastes like strawberry flavored cardboard.
Probably didn't taste like that 7 years ago. Glad it's you, not me.
Go out and get some Funkos, Cuphead, and Mugman cereal. It's a tasty treat that's fun to eat. No, it ain't. But you know what is fun? Reaching into the cereal box and getting that prize. And this is the Mugman Mini Pop.
Aww.
So now
I find that funny that they don't even put it in the cereal.
I was just about to say that. I used to have to dig.
Yeah, you used to have to dig, but they stopped. They stopped putting toys in cereal to begin with. Do you know why? Does anyone know why?
No. Too many of us fought with our family members.
No. So it has nothing to do with nutrition, and it has nothing to do with or expenses. What it has to do with is marketing. So here in the U.S., cereal manufacturers came under scrutiny by the federal government for using toys. A parents' advocacy group sued the major companies in federal court. And so, the government got involved, and basically they said that they were using toys to market cereal that was high in sugar content to children, and that it was contributing to childhood obesity. The toys. So cereal companies had to discontinue putting toys in their cereal.
I think that's so silly. Just say no.
Did they also sue the fast food chains too? But I'm sorry.
I know. I mean, what about Happy Meals?
Well, have you noticed the content of the Happy Meals has changed dramatically since we were kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Anyway, so Cuphead and Mugman cereal, final verdict. Don't you believe it?
How many bowls would you give that out of 5 bowls?
0.1.
Ooh. Half a bowl.
Yeah, it's not good.
All right.
Only 140 calories per cup, though. But I only ate 2. It might have been good when it was fresh, when it was new. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I've had 2 experiences now with the Funko's multi-grain cereal, and neither one of them was good. Maybe if I can find a new box of Bootios, Drew, maybe that would be a different story.
Hey, sometimes you gotta eat. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Right? It's too easy, right?
You're thinking.
It's too easy, right? I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not. I'm just not.
That's best. All right. So we have some viewer comments. It is time for audience comments. And Dawn Doulis says, I have a plate with a cinnamon roll, but I do have a box of mini wheat cinnamon roll that's unopened. Mini wheat cinnamon roll cereal? I want that. Dawn, you got to try it and tell us how it is. Better yet, film it and send us a video clip. We'll show it on air. We will do that. And Sandra Noel, our friend Sandy, says Twinkies in coffee is awesome. I don't like coffee, but I will take your word for that.
That might be something. Yeah.
Because, by the way, those 2 spoonfuls of Funkos are not agreeing with me already.
Oh.
Cartoon Commotion says Drew's like, here's my daily sugar torture every time I open my fridge.
Basically.
So Drew, does your wife want to fatten you up so that other girls aren't hitting on you? Is that what's going on?
No, we have a bet because I need to. The whole thing is I need to keep my 6-pack until we go to the beach. So if I lose any of my 6-pack, we have a bet of. It's a crazy bet, but we have a bet that if she wins, she gets something.
Drew, you do know that women like dad bods, right?
I heard that's a thing, but I'll take other people's word for it.
Yeah, well, Drew and I don't like dad bods, and we don't want to have one.
No,
I'm working on getting rid of mine.
There we go.
It's a slow process.
Come on to North Carolina. We'll do a couple workouts.
Oh God,
knock all that
kill
off.
Me! You kill me, kill me. All right, Cartoon Commotion. Cade also says, "I want a Thundercat spoon." He's referring to my skeleton. You know what? I would love a Thundercat spoon. I love Thundercats. DBRT, did you ever watch Thundercats?
If he had a Thundercat spoon, he'd be running around the house. I have the
power. You have to, right? You have to.
Yeah, that's like required. That you have to do that.
I have the power. I have the power. I have the power.
No. If it was, well, no. If it was a Thundercat spoon, that's the He-Man spoon.
Sorry,
I have the power. Yes. If it's a Thundercat spoon, it's thunder. Thundercats! Ho!
That's right.
He's like, I don't know what these nerds are talking about.
He's just like, oh my God. We're going to get to Thundercats during this Essentials series. Don Doulis says, I was thinking the same thing about 7 years ago about the Funko's cereal, apparently. And Cade says, I've got 4 boxes of Funko cereal. I collect them. Scooby-Doo, Ghostbusters, Hong Kong Phooey, and Mega Man. Haven't seen them in stores in a long time. Exactly. They've not been in stores in a long time.
What was that one that we tried several years ago on that other show?
Oh, that was Sour Patch Kids cereal. That was delicious.
But it was, no, because it was really old. Whatever it was. It was chocolate something.
I don't
There's a picture.
That.
There's a picture of me holding the box, and
I don't remember.
No, yeah, well,
you're gonna have to.
It was really old.
Picture. So Wongo Bongo says keeps costs down, not including the toys. Actually, they sold more when they included the toys, but that's what got them in trouble. Don Doulis says, I will think about it, thinking about filming the Mini Wheats cinnamon roll cereal taste test. I would love that. And Cade echoes what I just said. He-Man says, I have the power. I'd say Thundercats. Oh,
Dude, we're not even good. We're not even good nerds. We didn't even know that.
my brain sometimes doesn't. It likes to fill in memories.
Well,
I'm really bad at that. I'm sorry.
So Cade and I, Cartoon Commotion, he's got a great channel on YouTube, and he's in the process of rebranding, restarting it. But it's phenomenal material. He does some great work. And we had a phone call yesterday, and, you know, I mentioned just casually that one of my struggles is that this Saturday morning pop culture is like my religion. I'm obsessed with this. So the stuff, look, you guys, I sent a bunch of homework to our, probably more homework than I ever have. And I even sent it to Drew. And Drew, you've got to be a little bit impressed at how well I prep my team.
I have to say it was very impressive. A little, but like most homework, I just read the bottom of the syllabus and I'm taking the test today. Let's do this.
Well, and D did exactly how much of the homework?
Normally I do the homework, okay? I have done it every week for like the last 2 months. I didn't do it this week.
Out of 3 years.
So? What's your point? I've been consistent. I did not do it this week.
Willow, did you do at least the minimum requirements? Yeah. I love you so much.
I forgot that the show was even a thing until like last night, and I'm like, oh crap. That's how busy I've been.
Well, we are, of course.
You know that show I've been on for years. Also, traveled for, and have things and shirts and have videos and photos about. When does this start?
Yeah, when? Oh gosh, I have something to do Saturday morning.
This is my D. We're gonna have a meeting later on today. Look.
Anyway, into my calendar.
He's not mad at us. He's very disappointed.
No, it's okay because you make me look good. I love that. All right. It is time for Saturday Morning 101. This is a new series that we started a couple of months ago. I can't believe it's already been a couple of months. Just going through the Saturday morning essentials. Basically, what you need to be familiar with to understand the Saturday morning experience between like 1965 to 1999, 2000. That span of time, the golden age of Saturday mornings. And our fans voted and gave us a list of things that we need to cover. And this morning, we are up to one of my all-time favorites. And this show ran for 9 years. I'm talking about the Super Friends. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Robin, Marvin, Wendy, and Wonder Dog. Now, I know, Drew, you're giving me this look like, who is Marvin and Wendy? Who the heck are Marvin and Wendy?
Wendy because looks like the secretary.
No, they were junior Super Friends in training. And so the Super Friends, the Justice League, had this superhero training program. And Marvin and Wendy and Wonder Dog were training to become superheroes. Only problem was they didn't have any superpowers or any extraordinary abilities. I got to think, but Batman had money and talent and skill. But I got to think that this probably was. Oh, D's going to get hate mail now for that. But I'm thinking this has got to be something that Batman concocted. Because he kind of has this history of adopting young people who have no superpowers and thrusting them into a life of crime fighting. And Marvin and Wendy were basically hero support for the first 2 seasons of the Super Friends. And then
do you have that other graphic of Super Friends for me?
Hold on. Let's stay together. It's more fun when we get there at the same time.
Sorry.
So then, let's see. So anyway, these 5 were the Super Friends in the first 2 seasons. And then in season 3, Marvin and Wendy graduated and we met Jan and Zaina and Gleek. And D, do you remember? You've probably heard the phrase, Wonder Twin Powers activate.
Nope.
Form of?
You've never heard anyone say Wonder Twin powers activate?
Mm-mm.
What?
Form of
a Tyrannosaurus.
Form of an ice sculpture.
Yeah. So D, you're gonna love this. So Jaina would transform into animals, and she could transform into a Tyrannosaurus, an eagle, a bear, any type of, and not just Earth animals, any animal from the cosmos, anything that she had ever seen, she could transform into. But Zan, he could only transform into water-based things. So where she would transform into like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, he would transform into a bucket of water or an ice slide or a puddle. And apparently that was, and she's not even listening to me. She's on the phone. That's fantastic. But whereas Marvin and Wendy were hero support, Zan and Jaina became actual heroes. They were integral to the story. And that phrase, Wonder Twin powers activate, became popular in pop culture and became one of the most uttered phrases besides May the Force be with you. And yet, D. Barty still had never heard it. That's phenomenal.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I in some world, I think that Marvin and what's the other girl's name?
Marvin and Wendy.
Marvin and Wendy turned into Jan and Zan. Let's just have that imagination that they turned into
Zan and Jaina. Yeah. I mean, it's possible. No,
it's not at all. But and the monkey and the dog turned into the monkey. Let's do that.
Yeah. Gleek had no superpowers. He was just a monkey that was blue from another planet.
I mean,
and wore clothes with a cape. That's how he came in the set.
Superheroes needed a mascot.
That's right. But then, also in season 4 or 5, we started to be introduced to some new heroes. Some new heroes joined the Super Friends. El Dorado, Apache Chief, Black Vulcan, and Samurai. And they would make guest appearances along with Rima the Jungle Girl. And they were really introduced in the season that became the Challenge of the Super Friends, which the Challenge of the Super Friends also brought in other characters like Hawkman, Green Lantern, The Flash. And this is the show that you guys, if anyone out there remembers the Super Friends, they remember the Challenge of the Super Friends because they were fighting the Legion of Doom. 13 villains from across the cosmos. And you'll remember they rose up from the swamp in this domed headquarters that looked like a skull. This is what most people remember. And so D. Barty, as she's playing on her phone.
I'm actually not playing. You don't even know. I just made a phone call.
I know. I did know. I saw.
My kid called me. She was having an emergency.
Oh, that's everything okay?
Yeah.
But I put
this up maybe. I don't know. My husband. I told her to call my husband.
That's funny. We'll see. I put this up just for you.
Yay! Super Friends!
Because D is a fan of all things super and all things Friends. So here's what I can't figure out. Oh, Ross must be in Batman.
I was just about to ask that question.
So Chandler is Aquaman, the joke of the Super Friends, and Joey is Superman. So what was Courtney Cox's character name?
Monica.
Monica is Wonder Woman. Phoebe is Black Canary, and
Rachel
is Hawkgirl.
That almost works, except for Ross being Batman.
Well, I don't think Chandler or Ross would qualify to play a superhero. I'm just saying.
Tough takes, Johnny.
I kind of
I don't know. Chandler kind of looks like the SpongeBob version of
Mermaid Man.
Mermaid Man.
So that's hysterical, D. So, I had forgotten that Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy were a direct spin-off of the Super Friends. And that kind of plays into how they made Aquaman a joke, because the joke about Aquaman only being able to talk to fish and only being useful in the water comes from the Superman's series, which, D knows this. I've always maintained that Aquaman is bad to the bone. And when he's played right, a la Jason Momoa, he's total badass. But that's just me.
Yeah, and in the Justice League Unlimited show, he was pretty cool. And then in the actual Young Justice show, he's like pretty cool with like the hook hand, and he's like killing people. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that comes right out of the comics, where he had his hand eaten off by piranhas. But Super Friends ran from 1973 to 1985 originally on ABC, and then it was renewed, and it ran all the way through 1986. So 1973 to 1986, and most people remember the Challenge of the Super Friends, but a lot of later fans will remember the show as the legendary Superpowers show or the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians. And it was the Superpowers show, Super Friends, the legendary Superpowers show, that spawned the line of action figures. And I should have brought them up. I have the entire line that's currently on shelves today, and available at Walmart and Target. Very, very cool. But we got some great comments, and let's see. Wow, we got a ton of comments. So talking about, Kate is going to give you guys some heat here. He's going to throw some shade. Got to freshen up those nerdisms, guys.
Sorry.
Now, you guys watched what I sent you, which was the intros, two pieces of one episode. Did anyone, well, except for Dee, she didn't watch anything. Did any of you take what I sent you and go down a rabbit hole and do some more of your own investigation?
I've already I've done the rabbit hole thing probably like a year ago. Watched a bunch of episodes, and I'm just like, no, okay, I think I've had enough.
Well,
I think it was the wrong season.
Yeah, by the time you get to the Challenge of the Super Friends, it gets really good.
Yeah,
the writing becomes more mature. It's not as childish, and it was so cool to see this huge group of superheroes fighting this huge group of supervillains every week.
And it's interesting because I think in watching the top 10 episodes, they talked about how one of the writers for the original comic books came in and started writing on the show, and that added a lot more value and gravitas to the characters that they had on both sides, the villains and the heroes. The one thing I didn't like in the first couple seasons, and and I was screaming to the Raptor, he's my favorite DC character, even though I hate DC. The Flash was introduced very late in the series, and when he came in, he added a little bit more of the oomph that I wanted to see. So I like those episodes. And then the episode that became like the I think they do this on every show now, is that they pit the villains, like 3 villains. I think the guy was a wizard or something, and he brought the villains to this planet, and it was like pitting them against challenges. And at the end, of course, they worked together to actually save the day. So I was like, I like that episode. It was always good to see, like, they do that in mostly every cartoon. It's kind of like Secret Wars.
Yeah, that episode was, we think, probably inspired Jim Shooter to write Marvel Superhero Secret Wars, based on that wizard episode. But Cade with Cartoon Commotion said, I watched 2 episodes of Super Friends, Challenge of the Super Friends last night, Secret Origins, and the final challenge. I think Challenge of is really when the show kicked in gear. Yes, I agree. That is when the show really became super exciting, and that's the show that I really loved as a kid. I mean, I loved Super Friends from birth. I mean, from 73, I was 3 years old, all the way through 86. But when it became Challenge of the Super Friends, that's when my most distinct memories of the show are. And Dave Mattingly says, form of a bucket of water. Now, DBRT, if you're someone needing a superhero to save you, and the Wonder Twins say, Wonder Twin powers activate, and Jaina becomes this giant mastodon or T-Rex, and her partner becomes a bucket of water, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm running because it's a T-Rex. Yeah, no. I'm thinking I'm not calling these Super Friends.
I feel like the bucket of water is more useful than the T-Rex. And here's why.
Only against the Wicked Witch of the West.
But also, hey, if somebody's parched, if somebody needs to be hydrated, if there's a fire, because maybe Geo Fire, whatever, I forgot the evil villain's name that could shoot fire, like, or or what else? What I'm thinking, if there's dirt on the ground, if something needs to be cleaned.
Well, with the bucket of water, does Aquaman
what you do with
come
T-Rex?
with that?
T-Rex can't even use his arms. He can't use his arms. What he's doing? He's gonna bite something.
Well, now in the comic series, there was a Super Friends comic series, and this is my favorite single issue of the Super Friends comic series. Oh, and I forgot that too. I've got the collected omnibus edition, the entire series in 2 hardcover editions downstairs. I loved this comic series. This is Ice Maiden. This was a multi-part series in the cartoon in the comic series that introduced the Guardians of the Globe, and it was awesome. It was epic. But in this issue, Jaina becomes this like horned, almost like a manticore type, like a lion with a unicorn horn, and these. I mean, she was awesome. It was awesome. So Jaina was useful, but Zan, he was a puddle. That always frustrated me beyond words.
What would you need more, a T-Rex, manticore, or water if you're in the desert?
In the desert, water. But how many times are you going to be on an adventure fighting crime in the desert?
How many times are you going to see a Kryptonian lifting up a planet? What's happening here, Johnny? It's superheroes, baby.
I don't know. If I'm in the desert, I'm riding that T-Rex out of there.
You're going to ride a T-Rex? That's the wrong thing to do.
All right.
So Don Douglas says... He can't reach me
if I'm on his back.
That's true.
That is true.
Oh, D, you need to see Iron Sky 2. We'll talk offline. The bucket of water always annoyed the heck out of me, says Don Douglas. Yeah, it did me too. And they did a Wonder Twins comic series recently, and they rectified that, and they made Zan pretty awesome, because water-based powers can be pretty fantastic. I mean, think about how destructive water is when there's a flood. Water can either, like fire, can either sustain life or create massive destruction. So, when you use water-based powers the right way, it can be pretty epic.
Weren't they also they had to watch what they were able to do because of I keep wanting to call it the comic code. They were restricted by censors of how much violence and what they could show to children around that time.
Well, right, and Cade makes that point. I think a lot of it was done because they had to keep the violence down. But, think about this, though. During the same time, we had Dungeons and Dragons. We had Thundar the Barbarian with his laser sword cutting people up. I mean, I guess he never really saw...
They didn't show blood.
Yeah, I guess so. But, I mean, you might be onto something there, Willow. Dave Mattingly says, Solomon Grundy wants pants, too. I'm not quite sure what that means, Dave, but
I know Solomon Grundy always had pants.
Yeah, here's Solomon Grundy. He wears like pants and a jacket and a shirt. Solomon Grundy want pants too. Maybe I'm supposed to do it in the voice. Is that I need context, Dave. Context. And oh my gosh, we have so many comments. George Soroy is joining us, and he says, Challenge of the Super Friends was my jam. Banded together from distant galaxies. Dun dun dun, ba da 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 da. Everybody, dun da 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 dum da da. Nobody. Okay.
I got some dance moves for you.
Mermaid and Barnacle Boy. I love it, D. Keep it up. And all right, so this is interesting. Cade says the DCAU Aquaman story was dramatic because he lost his hand rescuing his infant son from near death. I know what Drew's talking about. That's right. And in Justice League Unlimited, he had the harpoon hand, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And Justice League Unlimited, originally just the Justice League and then later Justice League Unlimited was a direct not spin-off, but it was directly influenced by the Super Friends, later years, the Galactic Guardians and the Superpower Show. And this is a case where, as much as I love Super Friends, the Justice League animated series is the superior series. And there we could, talk about that all day long. But Dave Mattingly says, Jan must be Aquaman's favorite hero. I think you mean Zan. Because Zan becomes water. So Zan would be Aquaman's favorite hero.
It's so weird. That's my daughter's boyfriend's name.
Zan?
Yeah. I call him Zamboni.
He's probably, you need to ask his parents, he's probably named after this Super Friends character.
Okay. Maybe
I would be willing to bet $10.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of Zans.
Yeah. And Cade says, but I can totally see Beyond Comics where the DC animated universe got Mondo inspiration from the Super Friends series. Yes, they did. And Cade had mentioned that in our email conversations this morning that there's an episode of the Super Friends that was almost directly adapted into the Justice League. Secret Origins episode, and maybe Escape from Space City in the Universe of Evil episode. And it may be interesting to draw the parallel between the DC animated universe version known as the Justice Lords, which was inspired by the Universe of Evil, and all of these episodes made him wonder how much inspiration those people making the cartoons of the 2000s had taken from the show. A lot, because this is the show that we grew up with. and this is the show that informed, you know, our love for these characters. And Dave Mattingly says the recent Wonder Twins comic is very good. Yes, it was. Oh, and Kate is right. So in the 70s and 80s, parental groups were very intense. Their complaining got us not well. Scooby Doo. I think he means Scrappy Doo, and later a pup named Scooby Doo.
I love a pup named Scooby Doo. I love it.
Of course you do.
That was my fave too, Drew.
I love it.
And Cade says, can't truly compare Justice League to Super Friends because it is a different time. They're valuable for different reasons. There's corny heroes and serious heroes. Both have value. You know what, though? So, little known fact, and those watching will know this, who were fans of the show. The characters that they introduced, El Dorado, Apache Chief, Black Vulcan, and Samurai, and Rima, the Jungle Girl, never, ever appeared or made the transition into the DC Comics universe.
Oh.
Yeah, I never understood why. It's kind of like the same thing with Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Marvel never did a comic series based on that trio. And I just always felt like that was a missed opportunity. So another comment from Dave Mattingly. I'm with Drew. A pup named Scooby-Doo was fantastic. So, yeah. Yeah, Drew's Drew and Dee are Scooby-Doo fans. And Drew's frozen. Or is he just
not
frozen?
He's still blinking.
So, was there any? I sent you guys trivia about this show. Was there any trivia facts that really stood out to anybody? Go ahead, Dee.
I'm just kidding.
I'm waiting for Dave to type in the chat for his fun facts.
I was interested to see that Casey Kasem was part of the cast there and the voiceover. Yeah, he's one of my favorite guys.
He did Robin.
Yep, as per usual.
and do you know that he and the voice actor for Superman, Danny Dark, and Casey Kasem,
Great name.
Yeah, it is. Are the only two voice actors that did the voices throughout the entire run. So Casey Kasem was Robin. Holy rusted metal, Batman.
I can't do his voice. I'm going to speak normal.
You're listening to America's Top 40 with Casey Kasem. Casey Kasem.
D. Barty is not listening by Casey Kasem.
I actually know who that is.
Casey Kasem did a lot of cartoon voices. A lot of people don't realize how prolific he was the original Shaggy on Scooby-Doo. Casey Kasem.
He did that voice for many years, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did Bumblebee on the Transformers. He did a bunch of voices. So, final thoughts about Super Friends.
It's good for little kids. I mean, I wonder if they were to redo, kind of like the Justice League or Justice Society, if they would actually introduce some of the Super Friends.
Well, I mean, all of the characters are in the Justice League movies today, the Justice League series. And there's a great new series called Justice League Action, which is phenomenal. I think it's even better than Justice League International. The animation is so crisp, it's so fluid, it's a lot of fun. and it's probably one, D, that Nathan has seen because it's on air now. Does Nathan watch Batman, Superman cartoons?
No.
No?
Nope. No, I don't know if he's quite old enough for all of that yet. He's still in his SpongeBob and Spidey and his Amazing Friends stage. Like, I try to get him to watch stuff that's a little older, and he's like, no.
Well, he
did like Mario last night.
Well,
that was pretty funny. He's in the movie theater going, just making his commentary. It's hilarious. There was one part where like Princess Peach was like, let me see what you're made of. And Nathan's like, meat. He's made of meat. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Only my child.
That's funny. Well, Cade also comments with Cartoon Commotion, Casey Kasem was their computer too. Oh wait, no, he wasn't Bumblebee. He was Cliff Jumper. My bad.
Yep.
But yeah. But he did a lot of voices. A lot of voices. And when you know that it's Casey Kasem, you hear it. Mm-hmm. And you can see it all throughout the 70s, 80s, and into the 90s cartoon series. Go ahead.
I have a question. Some of the characters that they had in Super Friends, would they be able to do that in today's standards with how supercharged we are about racial stereotyping?
Okay, so you're talking about these characters, the characters that they introduced. Yeah. El Dorado, maybe. Apache Chief, maybe, probably not. They would have to call him something different than a chief. Apache. They would have to give him a different name. Black Vulcan, maybe.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Drew?
He's like, he'll be fine. I think Apache Chief will be fine too, because it just basically is a tribe and the highest rank you could be in that tribe. And Black Vulcan looks like Black Lightning, basically.
Yeah, and he was basically Black Lightning, and I don't know why.
I think all these characters would be good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Samurai. He was not an Asian stereotype at all. He was a badass samurai tornado. I mean, he was awesome.
Remind me of Shang-Chi a lot.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And Rima, the Jungle Girl, she was a public domain character that DC Comics adapted for this show. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't remember her on this show at all. But she must have been kind of like Shanna the She-Devil or Jana of the Jungle. Kind of like a Tarzan analog, but in beautiful female form. White hair, candy. Olive skin. What's that?
That's why you don't candy. Yeah, that's why you don't remember her. She's your typical eye candy. She's
no, but I've seen things written where she had like the strength of a tiger and the speed of a cheetah kind of thing, and she was. It don't matter.
She's tall, blonde. I mean, forgettable.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't think I would forget someone like that. I'm just saying.
Attack of the 50-foot woman much?
Yikes.
Well, but she didn't. I don't think she got big. But D, you would be excellent cosplaying this character.
Yeah, I was waiting on that.
You got the hair, you got the figure, you got the stature, you got the attitude.
Thank you.
So
at the super street.
I give it 3 out of 5 bowls, by the way.
Okay. What about you, Willow?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm with Drew. I think I'd give it more like a 4 or something because I don't know.
Well, at the time,
I'm sure there's some episodes that I should be watching, other than judging from the ones that I did watch. And
well, and
Dave's comment.
We'll get to it in a minute, D. Everyone stay together. Cade says Super Friends has a corny charm. I think I'd watch it for that glimpse into the simpler days of heroes. Yeah, and look, and that's what it's all about. It's about the fun and just having fun on Saturday mornings. And this was integral to my Saturday mornings. It's in my top 5 greatest of all time. But even at the top 5 greatest of all time, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5 bowls of cereal. Because it was improved upon by later iterations with Justice League, Young Justice, Teen Titans, and the new DC or the new Justice League Action Hour or Justice League Action Show, which is phenomenal. But it's all building upon this foundation. And because of that, I love it. And I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. And D. Mattingly says, I, for one, believe that Dee was raised in a jungle. Not too far off, Dee or Dave. She was raised on a farm. And Kate is still going to watch Escape from Space City episode. That looks epic. It was epic. The number one, according to fans, the number one best episode of the Super Friends is Super Friends versus Dracula. Super Friends versus the vampire.
Okay.
And by the way, little bit of trivia, the Super Friends show was the first time ever Batman's origin was told outside of the comics.
A man was crying in the alley.
Yeah, that I mean,
sold by the guy in the green shorts.
Yeah, and when you think about by the time we got to that, and that was in the 80s, I mean, we're dealing with death of parents and a child becoming an orphan on a Saturday morning cartoon show. That's pretty heavy. Pretty heavy. So Dave says, I remember liking the Mixelplick episode. Yeah, good stuff. That was early on in the series. Good stuff. I love the show. But I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 bowls of cereal. But go watch it for its charm and for what it did for us.
John, you're just having a hard time this morning with your words. I mean,
well, sometimes you get tang-tungled. And today's my first day with my new tongue. So one thing we moved around that we have to finish the show with is my favorite section, because we've poured the cereal, we've ate the cereal, we've watched the cartoons. Now it's time to dig the prize out of the cereal box with new loot. And of course, I already showed off my Skeletor spoon, and I'm sporting a new hat that I got a couple of weeks ago. This is an Ahsoka Tano hat. And this weekend at Rathacon, I was able to pick up at Walmart, finally, after bemoaning it for years. Speaking of the Super Friends, this is the Mego 50th anniversary Superman action figure. 8 inches, fully articulated, cloth costume. These were the action figures, D, that I was playing with when I was a kid. The first one I got, I think I was 3 years old. I got Aquaman. And these were popular up through around 1980, 1982, when they started to phase out with the Star Wars 3 3/4 inch figures. But they just reissued these last year. They've been impossible to find. Walmart is the only place that you've been able to get them until recently. And Walmart was horrible about stocking them. And I finally got Superman, and it completed my entire collection. So I've got the entire collection of the 50th anniversary figures. I'm so happy.
I'm so jealous.
Well, go check your local Walmart, D, and you might find them. Now, this week was a huge announcement at Star Wars Celebration, specifically showing the trailer for the Ahsoka TV series coming in August. I'm pumped. Ahsoka is my favorite character. And while we were at Rathacon, not only did Blake gift me the bowls with the sippy straw, the Skeletor spoon, but he knows I'm obsessed with Ahsoka. And so he brought me the final piece I needed for my Ahsoka collection.
Oh, I'm jealous of that too.
Yeah. This is the Ahsoka from the Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett series. This is the Rosario Dawson Ahsoka. And
they did a really good job on that.
Yeah, they did.
Holy crap.
Yeah, they did. It's beautiful. And it was the last piece I needed. I have every action figure and toy of Ahsoka that they've made. Because I'm obsessed with this character. She is my favorite Star Wars character of all time, and I cannot wait for the show. I'm super excited. And by the way, for all of you toy collectors out there, if you didn't know, Hasbro, Kenner, they got rid of the plastic packaging, the bubble cards, and the plastic windows. Well, their sales plummeted. Collectors stopped buying the plastic-free packaging because you can't see the product. You don't know what you're getting. And so collectors stopped buying. And Hasbro has announced, as of yesterday, they're bringing back the plastic windows and the blister cards for the collector market. They heard our voice. They saw us vote with our wallets, and they are reversing that decision.
Wow.
Saw us vote with our wallets.
Well, look, 46% of toys sold in the United States are bought by adults buying them for themselves. 46%. That is the biggest consumer demographic. And they were ignoring that consumer demographic, and they paid the price. So, ta-da! Anyone else have any prizes from the cereal box?
Go, Drew.
I always have something. Real quick, my friend from my wife's best friend, who's now my friend, brought me this wonderful cup.
Oh, that's a Pac-Man mug.
Can you see it? Is it blur? It's blurry.
Yeah.
Move it back. Move it back towards you. There we go. There it's in focus. Right. Yeah, the Pac-Man arcade cabinet mug. I love that.
That is cute.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, I'm horrible at Pac-Man. I like playing it, but I'm horrible at it.
I've only finished it twice in my life.
Willow, you're an avid video gamer. Did you play Pac-Man back in the day?
I sure did.
How many quarters did you waste on that machine?
Oh, I cannot remember. I absolutely loved playing it on like the coffee table.
Oh yeah, okay.
System, and then of course I had it for the Atari. That was fun. The stand-up cabinet though, that I found that harder to play with the stand-up cabinet than the coffee table version of it.
You know that those are available for your home use now from Arcade 1-Up.
Yeah, I see it all the time at Walmart, and I keep thinking about picking up one.
Yeah, the coffee table version is available too.
Yeah, I don't think my husband would appreciate me moving the coffee table out of the living room.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would. That's all he wants in life, Willow, is a Pac-Man coffee table or a Galaga coffee table. Drew, that's a deep cut, isn't it? How many times did you play Galaga sitting down at the table table unit at like Chuck E. Cheese or some pizza place?
So I had the great fortune of my godfather having a Pac-Man machine and a Galaga machine in his house. So he had a game room. So we had pool downstairs, and he had like the actual cabinet machine.
The original full size.
Exactly.
Cabinets, yeah.
So I literally would just no coins, just play them on there. So yeah, that would be crazy. And there was a little code that if you didn't want to put in coins, you can like twig the Galaga thing a couple times, and you can play a round of Galaga. That's super deep cut. Only a couple people know about that.
Oh, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Now, Drew, do you got anything else that you want to show off this morning? Besides the baby?
No.
Okay. So Cade says for you, Willow, if he's a good husband, he already has the Pac-Man table waiting for your anniversary present.
See, here's the problem. He got into the train hobby, and that's what he's been spending his money on the last little while.
That's cool.
Willow, did you see the video I posted this week of the side quest that Blake and I went to Entertainment Junction, the world's largest model train display?
I will have to look at that.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
It's on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Your husband is going to like fall over dead from FOMO.
So yeah, he's been helping his dad with a friend that passed away, and going through his collection, and so, helping his wife sell some of the collection off. So yeah, that's the hobby has already exhumed a lot of our finances.
Listen, I love model trains. And for years, I've tried to get into it. I had a small display when I was a kid. I tried to do a display when I was in college. Here's the problem. It's very expensive. It takes a lot of time, and you got to have a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
3 things that I generally just don't have. But I love model trains.
Hey D, are you up?
Listen,
just want to make sure she's engaged.
She's like, they're talking about Star Wars. They're talking about trains.
I actually like the train thing. My father-in-law gave me his model train set. I've been trying to put it. Yeah, I've been trying to get my husband to put it together for years, but
you know what? I'll come over and help.
Well, come on, baby.
Me and Brian put model train stuff together.
Bring it.
I would love that.
It's already been brought in.
Few last minute comments here. Cade with
I love that you knew that,
Drew. Cade with Cartoon Commotion says Mago, Radness. I want them. Oh no, this is Ahsoka. This is Mego. Yes, they're available at Walmart and Meijer. Go find them. And Cartoon Commotion, Cade says, you need to make a video about that collection, my Ahsoka collection. You know what? I might do that. I might just do that. And he adds, Windows are back, baby. Booyah! Yeah. And he also comments that my dad used to love model trains. I have fond memories of going to this diner where there was a model train that surrounded you while you chowed on cheeseburgers. Did it run along the top?
So you remember Uncle Mike, right?
Yeah. I love Uncle Mike.
So he created the company that would go into McDonald's and do the model trains
Really?
Yeah. He did that for
And so that's who gave you the model train set? Uncle Mike?
No, my father-in-law did.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not saying it didn't come from him. I don't know where it come from, but
all right. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, guys and gals, believe it or not.
Hold on. Did you see my joke, Johnny? Did you see my joke?
No, what joke? What joke?
I said
in the private chat.
You should ask Osaka how much rent is on her planet. because Rosario Dawson. Rent. Get it?
Oh, Ahsoka. How much rent is
I get it,
on
Drew.
her planet? No, I don't get it.
She was
Rosario
in the musical
Dawson?
Rent.
Was she? So okay.
Oh,
In the
okay.
movie. But
This
Sorry.
is a deep cut. I love musicals.
And Drew leaves.
No, that's okay. I love musicals. I've performed in hundreds of musicals, professionally. I love going to I love Broadway. But I don't like Broadway films. I don't like now, it's not that I don't like musical films. I love musical films. I've got the poster of The Greatest Showman on my wall. I love musical movies, but I don't particularly care for the film adaptations of classic Broadway musicals.
Yeah, I like The Greatest Showman. I love the music from it, but the actual movie, not a huge fan.
Really? Oh my God!
I'll have to watch the musical, as a play of Rent, because I wasn't a really fan of the movie.
Yeah, for me, a lot of the cool stuff about the stage does not transfer to film. And so I tend not to watch the film adaptations of musicals. Although, as Dave Mattingly notes, the Chicago movie was well done. Actually, Chicago was outstanding.
I agree with that.
And if you are a fan of Chicago, you got to be watching Schmicago. It's season 2 of Schmigadoon on Apple TV. OMG. It is the greatest thing ever created. Maybe after Agent Elvis on Netflix. Drew, have you been watching Agent Elvis?
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
John, we gotta wrap up this show, dude.
I know.
I gotta go.
Right.
Okay. We gotta wrap up. All I can say is, if you haven't seen Agent Elvis, you gotta watch it. If you haven't seen Schmigadoon and now Schmicago, you gotta watch it. Some great stuff. Great stuff. And since we're talking about cartoons, might as well add in there Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Do not sleep on this series. It's made by the same studio that did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and phenomenal stuff. All right, we got to go. Dee's got to go. She's got to go get ready for prom because she can't say no to anybody. I love you, Dee. So for those of you who are watching, if you enjoy what we do and you want to see more of it, and especially if you want to see more live on site, on location shows like we did from Rathacon, like we did from Nerdy Gras, you can help us do that by contributing at buymeacoffee.com/cerealboxpod, buymeacoffee.com/cerealboxpod. And when you do that, that helps us make better content for you. You can buy us 1, 2, 3 bowls of cereal, the entire box of cereal. And if you hate our show, contribute even more generously so that we can improve just for you. And that would be greatly appreciated. And if you can't contribute, you can support the show in different ways. Like, comment, share with everybody you know, whatever platform you're watching or listening, subscribe and follow. And speaking of subscribing and follow, everyone make sure that you follow Drew at Drew versus the World, an awesome podcast.
Drew versus the World.
And yes, and Drew versus the World brand is on all of the social medias. So check that out. Follow him. Make sure you follow Willow Schuyler at Willow Schuyler. And her TikTok channel is especially entertaining.
We'll agree with that.
And follow DBarty at DBarty Photo, also on all the socials. And you can follow me at johnpica.com. And I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Any last minute comments before we say farewell? So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, bonjour.
Goodbye.
Here's all I got to say, Drew.
Hey, Daddy.
Wonder
Daddy.
Twin powers activate. You want in on this?
You have to go the other way.
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
I don't even know what we're doing.
Stay above. All right. Well, that's it for our show, guys. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for watching, tuning in. And until the next time, love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the back of the cereal box. Mwah.